Welcome back to News 4 at 6. In the midst of a day filled with tragedy for young children in our community, this little boy clings to hope for a better life in his future. For the better part of 2 years, a St. Louis family has watched their young son cling to life.
Diagnosed with a rare lung condition, doctors say a transplant is his only hope for long-term survival. News 4's Mike Colombo shares the story of that little boy, his family, and their journey to a new life.
Few things in life are more peaceful than a sleeping child. Their little lungs inhale life and exhale hope. The hope for 19-month-old Elias Kosedner is to one day trade these short, shallow puffs for deep, distinguished gulps of air.
He's struggled to take a breath every day of his life. Once he gets new, healthy lungs, he's gonna take that first breath that's gonna, his eyes are gonna open up like, oh, this is what it's supposed to be like. This is how I'm supposed to be able to sit there and breathe.
That dream brought the Kosedners to St. Louis Children's Hospital.
Hi, buddy.
Alrighty, what's going on, huh? He's a very unique patient.
Get it away. Tell him, say no.
He has developed a problem where the blood flows through his lungs abnormally and does not pick up oxygen the way yours or mine would pick up oxygen. The blood flows through his lungs but stays blue essentially. And when you look at him, he's very blue.
Doctors diagnosed Elias with pulmonary arteriovenous malformation, a condition that may have quietly killed him just weeks after birth, if not for mother's intuition.
The night before, I noticed he was having trouble nursing, and she took a look and I said, he looks really blue right here. And I thought maybe bruised himself or something, and she put a pulse ox on his finger, which measures the count of oxygen in your blood, and the machine popped on at 62. And they thought the machine was broken. After 3 machines, we figured out it wasn't the machine, and we were in a ride to Cardinal Glennon.
Nearly 2 years since that fateful day, the origin of the disease remains a mystery.
We've done every DNA test, we've done every biopsy and blood test that medical science currently has, and they still don't have answers.
He's having difficulty growing and developing, and lung transplant is really the only alternative for him, unfortunately.
The path to a lung transplant can be fraught with frustration and fear. It also comes with a harsh realization. For Elias to live, another child must die.
We're really dependent on a child of similar age going through death in a way that they can donate lungs. And the lungs have to be healthy enough to sustain the process of coming from someone who's died and going through an operation and going into a child who's very sick.
When a match is made, the Kosedners will get a call. They'll have an hour to get to the hospital. To prepare for that scenario, Kim took a sabbatical from her teaching job. But with an $800,000 medical bill on the horizon, finances are tight and fundraising is a necessity. Friends and family are chipping in at every turn, and the Kosedners are now receiving help from the Children's Organ Transplant Association.
Our goal for him is to try to give him a normal childhood, at least for a while, and see where it goes. You know, if it's meant to be, it'll work, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. There just has to be more to his life than just this.
On Thursday evening, July 30th, the Kosedners' phone rang. Elias's new lungs were on their way to the hospital, and so was he.
There's a frantic feeling, excitement, and you want to run around and make sure, oh, we need to get this, we need to do this, even though we've been preparing for months. The only feeling you can compare it to is when you got the phone call that my wife was in labor, we were going to have a baby.
After months of racing against time to make it to this day, the Kosedners raced to the hospital. Elias entered surgery just before 2 a.m. As Paul and Kim sat in the waiting room, the clock once again was their enemy.
We were the only 2 in there. And so you got a lot of time with your thoughts and to contemplate different scenarios.
Meanwhile, in the operating room, a successful transplant was the only scenario doctors had in mind. When the 10-hour procedure was finished, it didn't take long for everyone to see this brave little boy in a whole new light.
When we first saw him, the first thing we looked at was the bottoms of his feet, and they were bright pink. And it was, you knew immediately the reaction from both me and my wife, and the doctors too. Look at how pink he is. Everyone says that.
Joy tempered with sorrow.
For this to happen, some other family had to lose their child. Someone out there had the worst day of their life, so we could potentially have the best day of ours.
Can you say hi to Daddy?
A selfless act and gracious gift in the face of tragedy.
There's thousands and thousands of people out there that would not be here without those gifts. And hopefully there'll be more and more, and as medicine improves, there'll be more and more success stories like this.
Look at that. Breathing with new lungs and those pink lips.
These days, Elias and his family are inhaling life and exhaling hope in ways they never have. A period of peace that, for all involved, is a breath of fresh air.
Good job. Very good.
I'm Mike Colombo, News 4.
You got it, look.
What a story Mike told there. Elias has been moved out of cardiac ICU. He's doing great. He's already had his stitches removed, and I was struck by when his parents were saying there has to be more to his life than this. Hopefully now there will be.
Yeah, you just can't imagine what this family's been going through. You know, it's touching stories.
Yeah, hard to keep a dry eye, especially when you're expecting one of
I've
your
got my
own.
first one on the way.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how
That's
they've
all
been
right.
feeling, but it's good that they've got a happy ending.
It's a
to
great
look
story
forward
right
to.
now. We have more information on how to donate to those who need an organ transplant and how you can help the Cossedners on our website, KMOV.com.